I've found a giant yellow Lego brick in the Virginia countryside, which must mean that I'm at the future site of the brand new Lego factory outside Richmond, Virginia. Let's go on inside and take a look at the visitor center that they've set up here. Inside this giant brick, there is a timeline, and then the centerpiece is this brick-built Lego model of what the future factory will look like. So you can see the solar panels on top of the car park area here. The solar panels will provide 100% of the energy for the factory. Then the main factory buildings themselves, there will actually be a local community play space for local kids to come and play around with some Lego bricks. There's the packing lines. You've got these various ponds areas, some sculptures. Then you've got the big molding hall with 384 injection molding machines, and then the high bay warehouse where 600,000 boxes will be able to be stacked on top of each other. And then just kind of expansive grounds all around that, showing some of the landscaping, some of the other ponds, and then large solar fields at different parts of the complex as well, again, providing all of that energy. You've got a really cool timeline on the wall here as well. So this takes you from the very early days in 1932, the start of the wooden toys in Billund, through the history of Lego, some of the early bricks and some of the early sets that Lego made. This old artwork, you've got the patent here, and then the old artwork with some of the kids that are featured there. One of the big significant things here is in 1961 is when Lego opened its first factory in partnership with Samsonite out in Colorado. So that was the last time that Lego had a big factory presence in the US. They did open a small little molding facility in Enfield in the 80s as well. Then you've got more iconic sets in the 70s and moving into the early 80s here, things like Technic, the early minifigures in the late 70s. You've got the Technic vehicles here, then things like Pirates, one of my all-time favorite minifigures here with Redbeard. You get into the late 90s with Star Wars, the opening of some of the Legoland parks, some Bionicle featured, and then you've got the factory in Mexico that opens. So that's the first manufacturing in the Americas as a whole in 2009. And then you've got the 100th store opening in White Plains, New York. Lego Friends launching. Then the announcement in 2022 of this factory site that's going to be opening next year in 2025. And then just last year, they announced that they're moving from Enfield, Connecticut to Boston, Massachusetts, so the new hub of their operations here in the United States. When you move over here, you get into a lot more details about the factory itself. So some more images and kind of mock-ups of what the buildings will look like. There will be 13 buildings. It'll span 1.7 million square feet. And you can see kind of layout and grid of what some of the buildings will look like here. And then there's different promotional videos and things. And they talk about kind of how they chose the site and why they came here to the outside of Richmond, Virginia for the site. It'll be a $1 billion investment over 10 years here. I think it's unclear at this point whether there will be any kind of like a factory store or an area to buy sets, maybe at a discount in the future. We've seen that in some parts of the world. We'll see if that happens here. The other large area here is if you kind of step back a bit, these gray circles are roughly in the shape of the United States, and then different parts are marked the Legoland parks. So here's New York, down here's Florida, there's California. Then they've got like the Lego offices in Los Angeles, here in Irvine as well. There's 103 brand stores throughout the US. These are all of the factories throughout the world. So this year in 2024, they're opening one in Vietnam. They've obviously got the new Virginia one marked on here as well, and then the existing factories throughout the world. We've got the Lego Systems Inc. down there in Fort Worth, and then the existing offices are marked here in Enfield. Boston is the new offices, and then of course we are here as well. I believe this should actually be down here where that circle is. That's supposed to be there. Then just a few more kind of inspirational videos, some information on the walls here, showing off some builds and some kids activities and stuff related to the Virginia area here. So that takes you through this visitors center outside of the new facility. It's really cool that they set this up. I think this is just a really unique kind of fun idea and a way for people to stop by and get excited about the factory opening while they're still building it. As of this recording, which is in May of 2024, it's really just still flat out there. They haven't started putting up the factory buildings at all, but you can see a foundation has been laid down and there's clearly been a lot of work going on. So it'll be exciting to see how that takes shape in the future. Here's some stats about that Lego model that we saw at the beginning. Over 34,000 bricks. A team of 7 builders took 389 hours to build this model that you see here. And it's just really neat to be able to get an idea of the scale and the layout of this whole operation. Hopefully there will be some more public-facing operations in the future with the factory. Like I said, maybe a factory store, maybe they'll do tours. Historically in Billund, the factory tours have been very, very difficult to come by, and they haven't opened that up very much. So we'll see what kind of public-facing operations they have when the factory actually opens here. But thanks for taking a look at the visitor center here at the future site of the new Lego factory outside Richmond, Virginia.